Tonight, you'll hear peaceful Zen stories that remind us of a powerful truth. Everything happens for a reason. These teachings have helped people all over the world find calm, even in hard times. Feel free to share where you're listening from and what time it is for you. As you get comfortable, I'll guide you through a collection of calming stories, gentle reflections, and soft affirmations, all made to help you let go of stress and feel peaceful again. Let's begin. Chapter 1. You are meant to be here. Close your eyes. You've arrived, not at a place on a map, but at a doorway within you. A doorway that only opens when the soul is ready to rest, to listen, and to remember. Tonight, I will not fill your ears with noise. Instead, I will offer you silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than words ever could. You are here because something brought you. Not coincidence, not accident. Something deeper, something ancient within you that whispered, "There is more to this life than what you see. There is a peace you forgot you deserve." This is not just a video. It's a journey back to yourself, a return to stillness, a return to meaning, a return to that soft place inside you, where everything makes sense, even the things that once broke you. Tonight, you will not be asked to think. You will not be asked to figure it all out. You will simply be asked to let go. Let go of the heavy. Let go of the proving. Let go of the noise that told you you had to become something. Right now, in this very breath, you already are. Everything you have been through, every storm, every loss, every question, was not a punishment. It was an invitation. An invitation to become soft, to become wise, to become empty of what you thought life should be, so you could receive what life really is. Zen teaches us, when the mind is clear, the path reveals itself. Tonight, I will guide you through ancient stories, simple, sacred tales, told under moonlight by monks who understood the rhythm of the universe. These are not just bedtime stories. They are mirrors. They will not entertain you. They will awaken you, gently, slowly, in the quiet folds of your sleep. Each story you'll hear will whisper something you've known all along, that everything, yes, everything, happens for a reason. Not a reason the mind can always grasp. Not a reason the world will always understand, but a reason your soul recognizes. So let yourself breathe now. Deep, soft breaths. You don't need to understand this journey. You only need to surrender to it. Whatever happened today, whatever happened in your life that led you here, it was not random. You were meant to hear these words. You were meant to meet yourself again tonight. You were meant to remember, you are not broken. You are blooming. Even in the dark, you are blooming. And the path you took to get here, no matter how winding, was the exact one you were meant to walk. Everything happens for a reason. You may not see it now, but you will feel it as your spirit begins to soften and your heart opens like a lotus toward the light of understanding. So tonight, let the stories carry you. Let the silences hold you. Let sleep be your sanctuary. Because you are not alone. You never were. And you are not lost. You are becoming. Welcome to this sacred journey. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Chapter 2. Zen Parable, The Arrow in the Heart. Long ago, in a quiet forest temple shaded by pine trees and layered with moss, a young monk approached his master. His heart was heavy. His voice trembled like leaves in the wind. "Master," he said, "I've been wounded, deeply. Someone I trusted betrayed me. The pain won't go away. I cannot meditate. I cannot sleep. I keep reliving the moment, again and again." The master looked at him for a long time. Then he walked to the edge of the forest and broke off a stick from an old tree. He handed it to the monk. "Hold this," he said. The young monk obeyed. Then, without warning, the master picked up a sharp rock and pressed its edge lightly against the monk's chest. The monk flinched. "Now tell me," said the master, "if I were to shoot you with an arrow, and then you picked it out and shoved it in again every day, would that not be madness?" The monk blinked, unsure of what to say. "You were hurt," the master continued. "That was the first arrow. It pierced your heart, yes. But everything that followed your reliving of the wound, your anger, your sleepless nights, those are the second arrows. And you are shooting them into yourself." The young monk dropped the stick. His hands trembled. "Then what should I do?" he whispered. "Accept the first arrow," said the master. "See it, feel it, mourn it, but do not pierce yourself again." And then the master took the stick, snapped it in two, and placed the pieces gently in the temple fire. "Let it burn," he said with his eyes. "Let it transform. Let it go." Reflection: what this means for you. Beloved listener, you too have been wounded. Maybe by someone's words, maybe by your own expectations, maybe by the unfairness of life itself. But tonight, I want to remind you, the pain happened. That part is real. You don't need to pretend it didn't hurt. Zen is not about denying the wound. It is about not wounding yourself again through your mind's insistence on replaying the suffering. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is the first arrow, sharp, sudden, and real. But suffering is the second arrow, the one we choose without knowing, the one we repeat in our thoughts, again and again, day after day. And sleep is the temple where second arrows dissolve. So as you lie here tonight, notice if you are holding anything sharp, a memory, a judgment, a regret, a story about how it should have gone. Take a breath. Hold it in your mind gently. Don't resist it. Just see it clearly. Now imagine placing it into a small bowl, a sacred bowl beside your bed, the bowl of letting go. And as you breathe out, see yourself setting it down. The arrow is not you. The pain was part of your path, but suffering is not your home. Tonight, you do not need to fix anything. You do not need to make peace with everyone. You do not need to rewrite the past. You only need to stop piercing your own heart. Let silence come now, like mist over a still lake. Let forgiveness come not as a demand, but as a whisper. I release the second arrow. Say it in your heart. I release the second arrow. Say it again, softer, and feel how your body begins to loosen, how your breath becomes fuller, how the sharpness begins to soften. You are not what happened to you. You are the one who lived through it. And now, you are the one who chooses what to carry. Choose softness. Choose sleep. Choose the warmth of your own becoming. Because everything, even the wound, happened for a reason. And that reason was not to break you. It was to bring you here, to this moment, to this stillness, to this new beginning. So rest now, dear listener. The arrow has fallen. The fire is warm, and the night holds you. Chapter 3. Reflection: Why Suffering Has No Enemies. Close your eyes and listen not just with your ears, but with the soft skin of your heart. We often ask, why does suffering exist? Why must the soul pass through fire to become light? Why must love be lost before we understand what it meant? The question itself is a second arrow, born not from truth, but from resistance. Zen does not say, suffering is good. Zen says, suffering is a teacher, without enemies. Not a punishment, not a curse, not karma knocking down your door, but a mirror, revealing what still clings inside you and what longs to be free. You see, suffering only hurts when we fight it. But the moment we lean into it, the moment we stop pushing it away, like an unwelcome guest, something extraordinary happens. It begins to soften. It begins to speak. And if we listen closely, it begins to teach. The lesson is never written in ink. It's written in silence. Raid. Ask yourself now quietly, gently, what pain have I tried to outrun? What sorrow have I labeled as wrong? What grief have I hidden in the corners of my smile? Tonight, let it come forward. Not to wound you, but to walk beside you, hand in hand, as a guide. Because suffering doesn't come to destroy. It comes to reveal. It shows you your strength by first letting you fall. It shows you your depth by first letting you feel hollow. It shows you your path by first removing what never belonged. Raid. Imagine the sky. Vast, infinite. Now imagine a cloud of pain moving through it. The cloud is not the sky. It is simply passing. And if you do not cling to it, if you do not name it as bad, it moves, and you remain. Suffering, like clouds, is weather. You are the sky. And no weather, no matter how fierce, can erase the sky it moves through. Zen monks say, don't waste your suffering, because the one who suffers is not cursed, but chosen to awaken, to burn through illusion, to understand that joy is not found in escape, but in being present with everything, even the ache, even the silence, even the storm. So tonight, you are invited to shift something deep inside you, not by force, not by logic, but by softening your gaze and asking this one sacred question. What if this pain is trying to love me? Not harm me, not ruin me, but love me by breaking the shell around my heart that I didn't even know I was wearing. What if suffering is not the enemy, but the gatekeeper of my healing? Let that question rest on your chest now, like a warm stone. Feel how the breath slows, how the mind loosens, how the tightness begins to drift like fog on a mountain at dawn. There are no enemies here, not even the pain, not even the past. Only invitations, only doors. And tonight, you are walking through one in diverse. Breathe in, breathe out. You are not who you were before the suffering began. And that is not something to mourn. It is something to bow to. Suffering carved the bowl that now holds your wisdom. Suffering hollowed the flute through which your soul sings softly. In the darkness, you would not be here, this gentle, aware, tender version of you, if life had always gone your way. So do not hate the detours. Do not curse the closed doors. Do not judge the aching chapters. They made you, and they are making you still. Everything happens for a reason. Even this, especially this. Let peace come now, like a robe on your shoulders. Let the pain know it is seen, and need not shout anymore. Let the stories melt. Let the tears dry without explanation. Let the soul be silent. You are not suffering tonight. You are awakening. And there is no enemy in that. Only love, written in a language only your heart can read. Welcome it. Now sleep. Chapter 4. Zen Parable, the Rice Farmer and the Flood. In a quiet valley, where the mountains kissed the mist and the wind sang through bamboo groves, there lived a humble rice farmer. He was old, with hands like tree bark, and eyes soft with silence. Each morning, before the sun climbed over the hills, he walked barefoot into his paddies, feeling the earth between his toes. He planted with care. He watered with devotion. He bowed to the sky, to the soil, to the seeds. Villagers often passed by and asked, "Why do you work so slowly? Why do you pray to your crops? You could harvest more if you hurried." But the old man would only smile, his silence saying more than words ever could. Then, one season, the rain did not stop. It came down in sheets, not gently, but with a vengeance. The mountains wept, the rivers roared, and the valley drowned. Fields disappeared beneath brown water. Homes were swallowed by the flood. Even the sacred temple bell was taken downstream. When the rain finally stopped, villagers stood in shock. Their crops were gone, their livelihoods ruined, their hope washed away. The old farmer stood at the edge of his field, now a vast, muddy lake. His hands were folded, his eyes closed. And then he smiled. One young man, still crying, shouted, "Why are you smiling, old man? You've lost everything. You, of all people, should be angry." The old farmer turned, and with the gentlest voice, he said, "Did I really lose anything that was mine to keep?" The villagers were silent. He knelt beside the flooded earth, placed his hands into the water, and whispered, "This, too, is part of the planting." Reflection. Let go of what washed away. Dear listener, what has the flood taken from you? A dream? A relationship? An identity you once clung to? We all experience floods in our lives, moments when everything we built is taken away without warning, and we stand, like the villagers, confused, broken, asking, "Why me?" But Zen does not ask why. Zen asks, "What now? What is this moment asking me to see?" The old farmer did not cling to what was gone. He did not curse the water. He did not blame the sky. He simply accepted, if it was meant to stay, it would still be here. And if it left, perhaps it made space for something deeper to grow. Raid. Sometimes life floods your field, not to punish you, but to teach you how to plant again differently, more soulfully, more truthfully, more in rhythm with who you've become. What you lost may have been sacred, but what remains is you. And that is enough. That is always enough. In verse. Tonight, as you rest, don't resist the memory of the flood. Let it pass through your mind like the storm it was. Feel it without fear. And then, like the old man, place your hands into the mud and bless it, because the mud is the beginning of new roots. It is messy, yes, but it is rich. It is dark, but it holds life. Zen knows a lotus blooms from the mud, not from crystal water. And you, dear listener, are that lotus. Your beauty does not come from perfection, from untouched seasons, from fields that never flooded. Your beauty comes from rising anyway, from planting again when there are no guarantees, from smiling at the sky even when it rains too long. This is not false hope. This is deep surrender. Raid. Breathe now. Slowly. Inhale the memory. Exhale the weight. Inhale the lesson. Exhale the loss. Let sleep come, like the next season, soft, sure, and sacred. Let your body sink into the bed, like roots into soil. Let the heart become still. Let the story settle. You are not what was taken. You are what remains. And what remains is enough to begin again. Everything happens for a reason. Even the flood. Even the empty field. Even this quiet night, where you finally say, I accept. Welcome the stillness. Welcome the soil. Welcome the next chapter. Sleep now. The waters have passed, and something beautiful is waiting to grow. Chapter 5. Reflection, trusting the silence after the storm. The storm has passed. The flood has receded, and now there is silence. No more crashing of water. No more shouting winds. Just stillness. It feels unfamiliar at first. This quiet. It's almost unsettling. After the chaos, peace can feel like a stranger. But this silence is not emptiness. It is not absence. It is the earth catching its breath. And so should you. End of verse. So many of us fear the quiet. We fill our lives with noise, constant motion, constant thoughts, scrolling, reacting, doing, proving. Because silence, true silence, holds a mirror. And in that mirror, we see what we've been running from. But Zen teaches, the truth does not scream. It whispers, and only the quiet can hear it. Tonight, as your body softens into the bed, and the world fades beyond the veil of your breath, you are invited to trust the silence. Not rush it, not fix it, not label it as boredom or loneliness. Just trust it, because after every storm, the soul needs stillness to recalibrate, to understand what was taken and what was given in return. You are not the same as you were before the storm. You are more tender, more aware, more open to life's fragility and its mystery. In the stillness, you will find answers that eluded you in the noise. You will feel truths that words could never contain. Let yourself drift into this silence. Let it wrap around you like a blanket, woven from stars in dusk. It does not ask you to do anything. It does not demand your attention. It simply offers rest. Raid. Imagine now that you are walking through a valley after the rain. The air is cool. The earth is soft beneath your feet. Drops still cling to the leaves. But the sky, the sky is clear. No more thunder. No more darkness. Just space. Just presence. Just you. Whole, breathing, safe. The silence after the storm is not the absence of life. It is life in its purest form. It is the breath between chapters, the pause before the next sacred unfolding. In Dublin, you do not need to rush toward answers. You do not need to rebuild the world in a day. You only need to be right here, right now, with nothing but your breath and the hush of your heartbeat against the vast stillness of night. Zen says, when the water is still, the moon can be seen clearly. Let your mind be that still water tonight. Let the reflection come to you. No effort, no force, just trust. In diverse, the silence is not empty. It is full of wisdom, of unseen grace, of seeds being planted beneath the surface of your soul. And like all seeds, they do not bloom in noise. They bloom in darkness. They bloom in silence. They bloom while you sleep. So sleep now, not as escape, but as devotion. Let this stillness be your prayer. Let your rest be your surrender. Because everything you're waiting for, the healing, the clarity, the peace, it is already unfolding. Quietly, softly, faithfully. Trust the silence. Trust the storm that brought you here. Trust the sleep that now cradles you, like the earth cradles rain. You are safe. You are loved. You are held. And you are exactly where you are meant to be. Chapter 6. Zen Parable, the Maybe Horse, Good or Bad. In a small village, nestled between green mountains and the slow whisper of a river, there lived an old man. He was neither rich nor poor, but he had something everyone admired: a strong, beautiful horse. One day, the horse ran away. The villagers came to him and said, "Oh no, what bad luck! Your horse is gone." The old man simply replied, "Maybe." A week later, the horse returned. and not alone. It brought with it 3 wild horses from the hills. The villagers came again and shouted, "Amazing, what good luck!" The old man smiled and said, "Maybe." The next day, his only son tried to ride one of the wild horses. It threw him to the ground. He broke his leg. The villagers came once more. "How terrible! Your son is hurt. Such bad luck." The old man, calm as ever, said, "Maybe." Weeks passed. The village was pulled into a great war. Soldiers came to take every young man to the battlefield. They left the old man's son behind. Because of his broken leg, the villagers wept for their sons and whispered to the old man, "You're so lucky. Your son was spared." He looked at them with soft eyes and said only, "Maybe." Reflection, the mind that doesn't rush to label. Dear listener, how many times in your life have you called something bad only to realize later it was the beginning of something beautiful? And how many times have you called something good only to discover it carried unexpected pain? Zen invites us to stop labeling every moment as good or bad, right or wrong, because the truth is, we don't know yet. Life unfolds in waves, and we only see one ripple at a time. What feels like a loss may be clearing space for something unimaginable. What feels like a gift may be a lesson wrapped in disguise. But if we rush to label, we miss the wisdom. The old man in the story didn't resist life. He didn't celebrate or panic. He didn't cling or push away. He simply received. He allowed life to be what it is, a dance beyond our control. And this is freedom in diversity. Tonight, as you lay down to rest, ask yourself, what have I been calling bad without knowing the full story? What if the breakup was the beginning of your becoming? What if the delay was protecting you? What if the detour was leading you exactly where your soul needed to go? Zen does not ask you to stop feeling. It simply asks you to feel with openness without forcing a meaning too soon. Let go of the labels. Let go of needing to know. Just breathe. Just receive. You are not here to judge each wave. You are here to float. Imagine now that you are lying on a small boat, drifting gently down a moonlit river. You do not steer. You do not row. You simply trust the current. Each bend in the river may hide something new, but you are not afraid, because you understand. Even if you cannot see what's ahead, the river knows where it's going. And so does life. And so does your soul. In diversity. Tonight, let go of needing to understand everything. Let go of the mental habit of labeling every moment as either a blessing or a curse. Let it all be maybe. Let the broken pieces be maybe. Let the victories be maybe. Let even your pain be maybe a seed, a gift, a teacher in disguise. Because one day, you may look back and whisper, "I'm grateful that happened. I just didn't know it at the time." That is the grace of trust. That is the peace that comes when you stop demanding to know. Breathe now, softly. Let your heart loosen. Let your mind drift. Let the boat carry you. No paddling, no forcing, just floating. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe you won't see it tonight. Maybe not even tomorrow. But one day you will. And until then, let peace be your answer. Let maybe be enough. Sleep now. The river flows, and you are safe in its arms. Chapter 7. Reflection Beyond Judgment. Seeing with New Eyes. You've heard the story. The old man, the horse, the flood of opinions. Good, bad, lucky, tragic. each voice eager to judge, each moment measured before its meaning had time to ripen. But the master did not rush. He simply said, "Maybe," and in that one word, he stepped beyond the world of judgment into the world of wisdom. Immerse. You see, the human mind is quick. It categorizes, labels, and defines. It wants certainty now, because uncertainty feels like drowning, and judgment feels like control. We say, "This is a good day. This is a failure. This means I'm behind. This means I'm loved." But what if we're wrong? What if labeling the moment is the very thing that steals its gift? Zen invites us to see again, but not with our thoughts. With the quiet eyes of awareness, to look at life not as a puzzle to solve, but as a painting, still in progress. You wouldn't judge a painting after one brushstroke, so why judge your life after one day, one season, one loss? Duh. Tonight I invite you to let your judgments fall like autumn leaves. You do not need to decide what it all means right now. You do not need to fix the feeling or make sense of the silence. Just see. Just breathe. Look again with softer eyes. That person who hurt you, were they cruel? Or were they carrying their own pain? That moment that broke you, was it a tragedy? Or was it the beginning of your awakening? That thing you lost, was it failure or freedom in disguise? Sometimes the truth is too big for our minds to grasp, but our hearts, they know. Immerse. Zen is not about never feeling. It is about feeling everything without getting trapped in the label. Joy is allowed. Pain is allowed. Confusion is allowed. But judgment, that tight grip that says, "This should not be," that is what creates suffering. Let go of that grip now. Imagine your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. Some are stormy, some are golden. You don't need to chase or hold them. Just lie back and let them pass. Raid. Now breathe. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, and that is enough. Inhale, I see what is. Exhale, I release what I don't know. Let the breath wash your heart clean. Let your awareness open like a window. You don't need new answers tonight. You need new eyes. Eyes that don't judge the moment, but bless it. Eyes that don't rush to conclusions, but stay open to what's becoming. Because everything is still unfolding. And it may be more beautiful than you could have imagined. Zen. Sometimes the worst day of your life is the doorway to the most important one. Sometimes what looks like an ending is actually the breath before a miracle. And sometimes the thing you feared most was never meant to harm you, only to awaken you. But you will only see this when you stop looking with eyes of fear and begin seeing with the soft gaze of trust. Immerse. Tonight, as your body rests, ask for new eyes, not ones that scan for danger, but ones that notice the divine in the mundane, the sacred in the broken, the beauty in what was misunderstood. Breathe again. Let the old stories soften. Let the harsh judgments dissolve. Let the mind release its grip on what should have been. There is no should now. Only this breath. Only this stillness. Only this quiet invitation to be free. To see again. To see differently. To see with love. Sleep now, dear listener, and let the night paint your soul with new light. Chapter 8. Zen Parable, The Man Who Lost Everything. There was once a man who lived at the edge of a quiet village. He had a wife, 2 children, and a modest home. He was not rich, But his heart was full. He spent his days helping others, fixing roofs, sharing food, offering kind words like prayer beads. And people said, "He is a good man, blessed by life." But one year, the rains failed. The crops withered. The village sank into hardship. And the man lost his fields. Then came disease. His wife fell ill and passed away. And soon after, a fire tore through the village and took his home. He stood among the ashes, his children wrapped in blankets, his eyes hollow. The villagers whispered, "He has lost everything." But the man said nothing. He did not curse the sky. He did not cry out to the gods. He simply sat beside the fire's remains, closed his eyes, and placed his hand over his heart. In the days that followed, he rebuilt a shelter with bamboo and scraps. He cooked what little he had and shared it with those who had less. One day, a traveler passing through saw him and asked, "How are you still standing? You've lost your family, your land, your home. Why are you not angry with life?" The man looked up. His face was weathered, but his eyes were still. And he said, "Because what I lost was never mine to keep, and what remains can never be taken." Reflection: what remains when all is lost? Dear listener, have you ever felt like the ground disappeared beneath you? Like life took everything, your plans, your peace, your person, and you wondered, "What's left of me now?" Zen does not deny the ache of loss. It doesn't tell you to smile through the pain. It simply sits beside you, in the ashes, and whispers, "There is something here that cannot burn." Duh. The man in the story lost everything the world could see, but what remained was something deeper: his kindness, his breath, his presence, the quiet truth of who he really was. And that is the treasure no fire can touch, no death can steal, no ending can erase. When we lose everything, we meet ourselves. Not the image, not the mask, but the core, the part that watches, the part that stays, the part that still breathes when everything else falls away. Immerse. Maybe tonight you're grieving. Maybe you're holding sorrow in your chest, like a stone. Maybe you've tried to move on, but the past keeps tugging at your sleeve. Don't rush it. Loss needs time to settle. Grief needs time to soften. But beneath the ache, beneath the rubble, there is still a quiet light in you, and it's untouched. Right now, it may feel like only a flicker, but it's real, and it is enough to begin again. Breathe in now, not to forget, but to remember. Remember that you are not your pain. You are the one who feels it, and still chooses to love again, still chooses to rest, still chooses to listen to a story at the edge of sleep. You are not broken. You are bare, and the bare soul is the most beautiful of all, because it does not pretend, it does not perform. It simply is, and being quietly, honestly, is the beginning of healing. Immerse. As you fall asleep tonight, don't ask what has been taken. Ask what has survived, and you'll find you still have breath. You still have time. You still have the gentle heartbeat of hope inside you. Let that be enough. Let it carry you like a small raft across a dark lake. Let it hold you as you drift into sleep, not with fear, but with quiet strength, because the man who lost everything was never truly empty, and neither are you. Sleep now. You are whole, even in the ashes. Chapter 9. Reflection: Loss as a Sacred Teacher. There is a silence that only loss can bring. It's not the silence of peace, nor the quiet that follows joy. It is a sacred stillness, one that arrives when something you loved is gone. And in that silence, you hear what the world often drowns out: the truth that nothing in this life is truly ours, that everything we cling to is a passing cloud, that every face we love, every home we build, every story we hold is borrowed. But in that truth, there is not despair, there is beauty, because what is borrowed must be cherished, and what is fleeting becomes sacred. Raid, loss strips us down. It removes the excess. It takes the illusion of control and replaces it with clarity. It teaches you what matters and what never did, who you are and who you pretended to be. Zen does not fear loss. Zen bows to it, because loss is not just an ending. It is a teacher, a gate, a fire through which the soul softens, sheds, and sees clearly. Tonight, you are invited to look at your own losses, not as cruel interruptions, but as messengers. Ask yourself gently, what did loss try to teach me? Did it show you your strength? Did it reveal how deeply you can feel? Did it guide you to let go of something that was never truly yours? Loss does not ask for gratitude. It simply asks for attention, for presence, for the courage to stop running and say, I see you, I hear you, I'm willing to learn. Perhaps your loss was sudden, like a storm. Perhaps it was slow, a quiet fading. Either way, it carved a space inside you, not to leave you empty, but to make room for something new. The soul does not grow through comfort. It grows through surrender, through letting go of what it thought it needed and discovering what cannot be lost. Raid. Tonight, as your body relaxes into the bed, imagine sitting beside your loss, not to fight it, not to fix it, just to be with it, like you would sit beside an old friend who doesn't need words. Feel what arises. Don't name it, just let it pass through. A memory, a face, a feeling. Let it all pass, like wind through the trees. You are not here to hold on. You are here to honor, to acknowledge, to bow, and then to rest. End of verse. Loss will change you, that is certain, but it does not have to close you. It can open you to empathy, to wonder, to a slower, deeper way of being. You don't have to be the same. You only have to be true. True to what your heart knows now. True to the softness within. True to the quiet voice that says, this too is part of the path. Breathe now. Inhale, I honor what I've lost. Exhale, I allow what is coming. Inhale, I release what I cannot control. Exhale, I rest in what remains. Let the breath carry you, like a leaf on water. Let the tears, if they come, be welcomed guests. They do not weaken you. They water your becoming. Everything happens for a reason. Even loss, especially loss. Because what is taken from the outside can awaken what was sleeping inside. And what was sleeping was you, your courage, your wisdom, your capacity to begin again. End of verse. So sleep now, not in spite of the loss, but with it, beside it, as part of your sacred becoming. You are not broken. You are being reshaped by the hands of time and tenderness. Loss has been your teacher, and tonight it lets you rest. Let go, breathe deeply, and drift into the peace that only truth can bring. Chapter 10. Affirmations. I am guided even through the dark. Tonight, we pause from story and reflection, and enter the soft field of remembering. Here, in the hush between thoughts, you will hear a deeper voice. Not mine, yours, the one that's always been there. Quiet, steady, wise, the one that speaks not in words, but in feelings, in breath, in knowing. Let these affirmations enter you like moonlight, like cool wind, like the steady rhythm of waves. Repeat them within. Whisper them to your heart. Let them become your truth, because they already are. In diverse, I am safe. Even if I don't understand everything, I am held by something greater than me. I am not lost. Even when the path is unclear, something within me knows the way. I am allowed to rest. I do not need to earn my peace. I release the need to control everything. I soften into trust. I am guided, even through the dark. In diverse, I let go of what no longer serves me. I do not cling to what is fading. I honor my past, but I do not live there. I forgive myself for not knowing then what I understand now. I allow healing to happen without forcing it, without rushing it. I am enough, not because of what I've done, but because of who I am. In diverse, I trust that life is unfolding for me, not against me. I welcome silence as a teacher. I breathe deeply, and with each breath, I return to the present. I do not chase answers tonight. I open to mystery. I am guided, even when I cannot see the light. In diverse, I release the need to be strong. Tonight, it is enough to be soft. I do not have to fix anything right now. I can simply be. I trust the timing of my life. I trust the detours. I trust the pauses. I let go of urgency. I let go of worry. I trust that what is meant for me will come, and what is not will fall away with grace. In doublet, I breathe in peace. I breathe out resistance. I breathe in trust. I breathe out fear. I breathe in stillness. I breathe out judgment. I am not behind. I am not broken. I am becoming, and becoming takes time. In diverse, I remember, even in the dark, a seed is growing. Even in silence, a transformation is unfolding. Even in grief, there is something holy rising, and I am part of it. I do not need to see the whole picture, to trust the brushstroke I'm in. I am guided, even through the dark. In diverse, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become from it. I give myself permission to begin again, as many times as I need. I welcome softness. I welcome rest. I welcome healing. There is wisdom moving through me, even now, and I am ready to receive it. Raid. I trust that everything is happening for my highest becoming. I trust the pauses. I trust the unknowing. I trust the whisper behind the silence. I surrender the weight I no longer need to carry. And I sleep now, not as escape, but as devotion, as a return to something sacred. G1. Tonight, I rest in peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because I no longer demand it to be. I rest in the truth that I am already enough, that I am already on the path, that I am already held, that I am already guided, even through the dark. I am guided, and so I let go, and I sleep, softly, fully, faithfully. Chapter 11. Zen Parable, the Tea Master and the Sword. In old Japan, there lived a humble tea master. He was not a warrior. He had never lifted a sword. His hands were trained in stillness, not battle. Each day, he prepared tea with quiet reverence. He moved like wind over still water. Precise, gentle, sacred. People came from distant villages to watch him pour water, to feel the peace in his presence. Even the local samurai said, "There is power in his calm." One day, the tea master was summoned to the capital to serve tea for a lord. On his way, he passed through a town where honor was delicate and ego ran sharp. While walking through the market, his sleeve accidentally brushed a proud samurai's arm. The warrior turned, furious. "You have insulted me," he said. "I challenge you to a duel at dawn." The tea master bowed. He did not run. He did not argue. But that evening, he found a sword master and said, "I do not wish to fight, but I will not disrespect the duel. Please teach me how to die with dignity." The sword master was moved. He looked at the tea master, saw the serenity in his eyes, and said, "Before we speak of swords, show me how you make tea." Confused, the tea master obeyed. He laid out the cup, boiled the water, poured with presence, moved with grace. The sword master watched in awe. At the end, he stood and said, "There is nothing I can teach you. Tomorrow, go to the duel and prepare your sword, exactly as you prepared this tea." The next morning, the tea master arrived. The samurai waited, ready to strike. But the tea master moved with calm. He bowed, drew his sword slowly, and stood, not with fear, but with stillness. The samurai stared. Something in him shifted. He lowered his weapon, bowed back, and walked away. He had seen something he could not explain, a power greater than force, the power of presence. Reflection, strength in stillness. Dear listener, there is a tea master within you, and there is a sword in your life, something you fear, something you think you cannot face. But what if the answer is not to fight harder, but to become more still? Zen teaches us that true power does not come from aggression. It comes from awareness. The tea master did not learn to fight. He remembered how to be, and his being was more powerful than the blade pointed at him. Tonight, what if you stopped trying to win? What if you stopped preparing for battle and prepared for presence instead? What if the storm in your life doesn't need resistance, but stillness? There is strength in soft hands, in calm breath, in eyes that do not flinch, and that strength lives in you. Right now, in doubling, breathe now, slowly, like the tea master, like steam rising from the cup. Let your hands relax. Let your chest soften. Let your spirit unclench. You do not need to be ready for everything. You only need to be present for this. This breath, this moment, this truth. You are already enough. Raid. There may be challenges ahead. People who misunderstand you. Situations that press against your peace. But you do not need to meet them with panic. You can meet them with the stillness you've practiced in private. You can be the calm in the room full of fire. You can hold the sword, not with fear, but with reverence. And your presence will do the rest. Tonight, let sleep be your tea ceremony. Move slowly. Lay your body down with intention. Breathe with grace. Close your eyes as if bowing to the world. And know you are powerful because you are peaceful. You are strong because you are still. You are safe because you are present. Let go now. Let sleep come like warm tea to a quiet soul. And may every challenge bow to the strength of your calm. Chapter 12. Reflection, Grace Hidden in Chaos. Chaos does not ask for permission. It does not knock gently. It arrives uninvited shattering plans, scattering the pieces of what we thought life should be. And in the beginning, it feels cruel. It feels like the storm is destroying everything sacred, everything stable, everything safe. But Zen whispers, when the bowl breaks, the light can touch every piece. Raid. We are taught to fear chaos, to see it as the opposite of order, as something wrong, as something to run from. But what if chaos isn't here to destroy? What if it's here to rearrange, to cleanse, to awaken? There is grace in chaos, not in the noise, but in what it reveals: the illusion of control, the attachment to certainty, the walls we've built around a life that was too small for who we're becoming. End of verse. You've likely felt it. That moment when everything you counted on fell apart. The job, the relationship, the version of yourself you worked so hard to protect. And in the center of it all, a voice inside whispered, "Now what?" That voice is not panic. It is possibility. Because when the familiar collapses, the soul begins to speak. Not loudly, not with drama, but with quiet truth. This is not the end. This is the beginning of something more honest. Tonight, I invite you to look back on a time in your life that felt chaotic. What did it leave behind? Not the pain, but the lesson, the growth, the unexpected softness. What did that chaos clear away? What did it force you to see? What did it help you become? Sometimes it's the breaking that shows us the gold within the fracture. Zen does not offer shelter from chaos. It offers a way to breathe inside it, a way to bow, even while the storm is still raging. Raid. So tonight, dear listener, you don't need to resist the mess. You don't need to force clarity. You don't need to pretend everything is calm. Just breathe inside the unknown. Inhale, I allow. Exhale, I surrender. Inhale, I trust the unfolding. Exhale, I rest in the not knowing. Let your body relax into the chaos. Not to be overwhelmed by it, but to become weightless inside it. Like a feather in the wind, like a leaf in the river, like the moon behind the clouds, always there, even when unseen. Raid. If life feels disordered right now, if things are not going according to plan, if you're tired of trying to hold it all together, then rest. Rest not because everything is done, but because not everything needs to be. Let this night be sacred. Let it hold your fears without needing to solve them. Let it hold your questions without rushing the answers. Let it hold you exactly as you are. End of verse. There is a quiet grace in the middle of chaos. You may not see it yet, but it sees you. It knows who you're becoming. It knows what you no longer need. It knows how to turn disorder into design. So breathe again and sleep. Sleep not despite the chaos, but with it, through it, as part of the sacred process that brings order to the soul. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are rearranging. And that, too, is grace. Chapter 13. Zen Parable, The Empty Teacup Revisited. A long time ago, a learned man came to visit a Zen master. He wore fine robes. He carried scrolls. He spoke in long sentences, filled with philosophy and pride. "I've come to learn the secrets of Zen," he said. "I've studied all the great texts, debated with many teachers, but I want to know what you know." The Zen master smiled softly and motioned for him to sit. Without a word, he brought out a small clay teacup and a steaming pot of tea. He began to pour. The tea rose in the cup and soon reached the brim. But the master did not stop. The tea spilled over onto the table onto the scrolls, onto the man's lap. "Stop," the scholar shouted. "Can't you see the cup is full?" The master looked at him and said gently, "Yes, and so are you." He placed the pot down and continued, "If you do not empty your cup, how can I offer you anything new?" Reflection. Make space for wisdom. Dear listener, we all carry full cups, not of tea, but of thoughts, beliefs, stories we tell ourselves about how life should be. And sometimes those cups are so full that we cannot receive the very thing we're longing for. We say we want peace, but we're too busy trying to earn it. We say we want healing, but we refuse to let go of the story of our wound. We say we want love, but we hold so tightly to our fear of being hurt again that love has nowhere to sit. Tonight, Zen asks you to empty your cup, not to lose yourself, not to forget who you are, but to make space. Space for softness, space for wisdom, space for silence, to whisper what the noise has drowned out. Let go of being right. Let go of being certain. Let go of needing to have it all figured out. You don't need to understand everything to be at peace. You only need to stop clinging. Raid. Imagine now that your thoughts are steam, rising from the surface of tea. Let them rise. Let them drift. Let them disappear. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to hold them. The mind wants to fill the space, but your soul knows the real treasure comes when there is room to receive it. Room for truth. Room for love. Room for mystery. End of verse. Zen is not a set of answers. It is the art of emptying the cup so that life can pour in its own wisdom. And life always knows exactly what you need. In this moment, not more knowledge, not more strategy, but presence. Peace is not something you collect. It's something you remember when the cup is no longer overflowing. End of verse. So as you lay here, let yourself be empty. Empty of judgment, empty of tension, empty of all the stories that say you are not already whole. Feel your body soften. Let the breath slow. Let the thoughts melt. You are not failing when you forget. You are not behind when you rest. You are simply returning to the empty cup, the sacred space where everything begins. Sleep now, not to escape, but to create space. Let the dreams come. Let the silence speak. You do not need to try so hard. You do not need to prove anything. You are the teacup, and your emptiness is holy. Let go and be held. Chapter 14. Reflection, letting go of meaning to find peace. The mind is always searching, always asking, what does this mean? Why did this happen? What lesson should I take from this? It turns over every moment, like a stone in a river, trying to decode the symbols of a language it was never meant to fully understand. And while curiosity is human, relentless meaning-seeking can become a prison. Zen whispers a gentle alternative. Let go of the need to know, and peace will find you. There are moments in life that seem impossible to understand. The loss that came without warning. The door that closed after years of effort. The love that ended without reason. And the mind wants to wrap a story around it, to give it structure, purpose, shape. Because not knowing feels like floating in the middle of an ocean without a map. But what if that ocean is the very place peace lives? Raid. Sometimes what's hurting us is not the event itself, but our need to explain it. We say things like, it must be karma. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe life is punishing me. But what if there is no punishment? What if life is not trying to teach us a lesson? With every storm, what if some things just are? And what if, in accepting that, we find a deeper, quieter peace? Zen invites us to sit with the unanswered questions, to let them be like clouds that drift across the sky without needing to be caught. It asks us to trust that not all things need to be understood in order to be holy, that sometimes meaning arrives years later when we've stopped asking for it, and sometimes it never arrives in words at all, just in presence, just in stillness, just in a sense of soft knowing that doesn't require explanation. End of verse. Tonight I invite you to let go of needing this moment to make sense. You don't need to solve it. You don't need to interpret it. You don't need to assign it a label or find a silver lining right now. You only need to breathe. Let go of the grip. Let go of the mental spiral. Let go of the what ifs and why nots, and return to the quiet, beyond thought. Raid. Inhale, I release the story. Exhale, I welcome the silence. Inhale, I surrender the need to know. Exhale, I allow peace to come. Feel your body melt into the stillness beneath meaning, the sacred ground where nothing needs to be explained, only felt. This is not ignorance. This is wisdom. It is the wisdom of the trees that grow without knowing why, the rivers that flow without a map, the stars that shine without asking for applause. You too are part of that rhythm. You too can trust without knowing. In diverse, some truths live beyond language. Some peace comes when we stop trying to force a reason, and in that surrender, something new opens. Space, freedom, breath. So sleep now, not with answers, but with openness, not with certainty, but with trust. Let your mind rest. Let your questions rest. Let your soul unfold without needing to understand how. Peace is not found in meaning. It is found in presence. You are already there. Just breathe and let go. Chapter 15. Affirmations. I trust the rhythm of the universe. Close your eyes. Let the breath slow. Let the rhythm of life begin to sing quietly through you. Tonight is not about answers. It is about attunement. It is about remembering that the universe has a rhythm and your soul already knows how to move with it. These affirmations are not instructions. They are reminders of what you've always known, of the peace that was never lost. Let them wash over you like waves on a quiet shore. Let them settle into your body like sacred seeds beneath the soil of sleep. I trust the rhythm of the universe. Even when I don't understand it, I trust it. I let go of control. I let go of resistance. I allow life to flow through me. I am not here to force. I am here to receive. I am here to become. My life does not need to match a timeline. My path is sacred, even when it's slow. I do not rush what is unfolding. I allow it to bloom in its own time. End of verse. I breathe in patience. I breathe out pressure. I breathe in trust. I breathe out fear. I breathe in surrender. I breathe out control. I no longer fight the current. I float. I no longer chase. I attract. Through stillness, through honesty, through presence. The universe has not forgotten me. It is not against me. It is not punishing me. It is rearranging me into something stronger, softer, more whole. I let go of timelines. I let go of old plans. I make room for miracles I cannot yet imagine. I trust the rhythm of the universe. End of verse. I release the pressure to always know. I do not need to see the full path to take the next breath. I allow myself to be surprised, to be softened, to be held. Everything that is meant for me is on its way, and I will be ready, not by force, but by faith. The timing of my life is divine. Even the pauses are sacred. I do not need to earn rest. I do not need to apologize for slowing down. I am aligned with something greater than my plans. I am guided by an intelligence deeper than thought. I move not with panic, but with peace. I trust that delays are not denials, that detours are not mistakes, that silence is not absence. I trust the rhythm of the universe. End of verse. I welcome rest. I welcome quiet. I welcome the mystery of what comes next. I trust that what falls away was never mine, and what remains is enough to begin again. I surrender what I thought should be. I embrace what is. I am not behind. I am exactly where I am meant to be. Zen. I flow like water. I rise like breath. I expand like light. I allow life to move me. With wisdom I cannot see, but can feel. And that is enough. Tonight I sleep, not because everything is perfect, but because I am done resisting. I trust the rhythm of the universe, and I let it carry me home. Let go now. Feel the stillness in your body. Feel the softness in your chest. You are no longer the one trying to hold it all together. You are the one who is held. Sleep, dear one. You are in perfect timing. You are already flowing. You are already free. Chapter 16, Zen Parable, The Thief and the Moon. There once lived a Zen master in a humble hut on the edge of a quiet village. He owned nothing of value. No gold, no paintings, no titles. Only a small mat, a single bowl, and the moonlight that poured through his window each night. His days were filled with silence and breath, his nights with stillness and stars. One evening, while the master was away, a thief broke into his hut. He searched through the empty space, expecting coins, treasures, something to steal. But there was nothing. Just the mat. Just the bowl. Just emptiness. The master returned. He saw the thief standing awkwardly, ashamed and confused. But the master did not panic. He did not scold. He simply smiled and said, "You've come a long way to visit me, and you shouldn't leave empty-handed." He handed the thief his robe, his only possession, then added, "It's a cold night, please take this to keep warm." The thief, speechless, took the robe and fled. That night, the master sat alone in his hut, wrapped in moonlight, and whispered to the stars, "Poor fellow, I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." Reflection: the wealth of letting go. Dear listener, what cannot be stolen from you? What part of you remains? When the titles are gone, when the things are lost, when the people walk away, Zen invites us to live like the master, to live with so little fear that even a thief becomes an opportunity to give. Because true wealth does not live in what we keep. It lives in what we're willing to release. The master had no fear because he had no attachments. He did not cling to things, so nothing could be taken from him. He did not cling to pride, so he didn't feel insulted. He did not cling to comfort, so he had no fear of discomfort. He had one thing only: presence. And presence can never be stolen. Tonight, ask yourself, what am I still clinging to? A role? A possession? A relationship? a version of who I thought I had to be, and then ask, if I let it go, what would remain? Beneath the robes, beneath the fears, beneath the walls of mine and me, there is stillness. There is the moon, always shining, always there, even when everything else is gone. Duh. Let go now. Let your mind release the tension of holding. Let your heart unclench its grip. Let your soul stretch out like a night sky. You do not need to defend your worth. You do not need to keep everything close. The more you release, the more you receive. The less you need, the more free you become. And freedom is the real treasure. End of verse. Breathe in, I release my grip. Breathe out, I welcome peace. Breathe in, I am not what I own. Breathe out, I am already whole. Breathe in, let it go. Breathe out, let it go. Again and again, until all that remains is moonlight. Until all that remains is what was never at risk of being lost. End of verse. The world may try to take from you your time, your image, your energy, but the moon inside you, the calm watcher, the sacred flame, cannot be taken. And that is who you really are. You are not the robe. You are not the bowl. You are the open window through which eternity breathes. So sleep now, with empty hands and a full heart. Nothing is missing. Nothing is broken. Even the thief was your teacher, and the moon is yours. Always. Chapter 17. Reflection. You cannot be robbed of who you are. Some things in life can be taken. The house, the money, the job, the relationship, even the image you built of yourself. And when they go, it can feel like a robbery, a tearing away of what once made you feel whole. But Zen offers a deeper truth, a softer truth. Nothing essential can ever be stolen, because you are not your titles. You are not your plans. You are not even your pain. You are what remains. When all else falls away, raid. We spend so much time trying to protect what we think defines us. The roles, the reputation, the perfect version of our lives. We grip tightly. We defend fiercely. We believe that if we lose these things, we lose ourselves. But the Zen master knows, when life strips you bare, it reveals what is indestructible. And that is where your peace begins. Duh. Tonight, you are invited to loosen the grip on what can be taken and rest in what cannot. Breathe. Let go of the idea that you need to have it all figured out. Let go of the fear that something might slip away. Let go of the urge to hold everything together. You are not the one being held together. You are the one who holds. And you are whole even in uncertainty. Duh. Ask yourself gently, what part of me is eternal? It's not the name, not the resume, not the photos or possessions. It's the quiet observer, the breath that keeps returning, the awareness that watches joy and sorrow rise and fall like waves. That awareness is not at risk. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be erased. And it is you. End of verse. Imagine for a moment. You are standing in a temple, empty, echoing, still. Everything is gone. No one is watching. Nothing left to prove. And yet, you still breathe. You still exist. You still feel love. You still carry presence. That is your true home, and it has never been under threat. End of verse. So often, what we call loss is really a return to the core, a return to simplicity, a return to the quiet flame that never depended on anything outside of us. Tonight, you are not being asked to forget. You are being asked to remember. Remember what cannot be touched. Not by time, not by betrayal, not by change, not by thieves of any kind. Breathe now. Inhale, I am more than what I own. Exhale, I am more than what I've lost. Inhale, I am rooted in stillness. Exhale, I rest in what remains. Let the breath show you what is real. Let the breath remind you that even now, in this quiet night, you are complete. No success can add to you. No failure can take from you. You are not a project to be perfected. You are a presence to be remembered. Raid. And if you have suffered a loss, something that felt like it took a piece of you, know this: you are not less because of it. You are more real, more open, more aligned with what truly matters. What has fallen away was never meant to define you. What remains is who you truly are. End of verse. So sleep now, not as someone trying to hold the world together, not as someone grieving who they were. Sleep as the one who is already whole, the one who cannot be robbed of love, of light, of the quiet self, who watches over you even now. Let go of the fear. Let go of the proving. Let go of the illusion of being incomplete. You are not your roles. You are not your losses. You are not your achievements. You are the space beneath it all. You are the moonlight the thief could not carry. You are the silence that waits unchanged. And in this moment, you are safe. Sleep now, and let what remains carry you through the night. Chapter 18. Zen Parable Carrying the Woman. Two monks were traveling on foot. One was older, calm as still water. The other was young, full of passion, full of rules. As they walked through the forest, the rain began to fall, heavy, sudden. The path turned to mud. The river bank swelled. Eventually, they reached a crossing, a shallow stream that had turned wild. There, by the water, stood a young woman, in fine clothes, unable to cross. She looked at the monks and pleaded, "The river is too deep. I can't get across without ruining my dress. Will one of you carry me?" The younger monk froze. Their monastic vows forbade contact with women. He looked away, silent and unsure. But the older monk, without a word, lifted the woman into his arms, carried her through the water, and gently placed her on the other side. She bowed in thanks. He bowed in silence, and they all continued on. Hours passed. Finally, unable to hold it in, the younger monk said, "How could you do that? We are not supposed to touch women. It goes against everything we've been taught." The older monk looked at him with calm eyes and replied, "I set her down at the river. Why are you still carrying her?" Reflection. Let go of what no longer belongs to you. Dear listener, what are you still carrying? Not in your hands, but in your heart, in your thoughts, in the quiet places of your mind that replay moments long past. We all have something, a conversation, a mistake, a decision we wish we could change. But Zen invites us to ask, if it's already over, why am I still holding it? The younger monk did nothing wrong. He followed the rule, but he carried the moment long after it had passed. He clung to the idea of what was supposed to be, and in doing so, he missed the freedom that only the present can offer. The older monk, he acted from presence, from compassion, and once the moment was complete, he let it go. End of verse. You are allowed to let go, too, of the regret, of the judgment, of the heaviness that no longer belongs to this moment. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the version of yourself that made choices you wouldn't make now. That version walked to the river. That version carried something, but you, here, now, in this moment, can set it down. In diverse, take a breath. Inhale, I no longer carry what is over. Exhale, I return to the present. Inhale, I forgive. Exhale, I release. You do not need to replay the scene. You do not need to argue with the memory. You only need to recognize. It already happened, and now it is complete. You can bow to the lesson and walk on in peace. In doubling, imagine now that you're walking through a quiet forest. You feel a weight on your shoulders, an invisible bag of thoughts, stories, burdens. Now, pause. Gently remove it. Set it down beside a tree. You do not need it anymore. It has already served its purpose. Let the earth take it. Let the wind carry it. And notice how light you feel, how easy it is to breathe, how spacious the world becomes when you no longer carry the past. In diverse, Zen is not about having no memories. It's about not being ruled by them. It's not about forgetting. It's about freeing. So sleep now, not as someone burdened, but as someone who is remembered. The story is done. The moment has passed. The river is behind you. You are no longer carrying what was. You are here. You are now. You are light. And you are free. Chapter 19. Reflection. Let the moment be enough. We are always reaching for answers, for more time, for a different version of what is. We tell ourselves, I'll be peaceful when I fix this. I'll be happy when it all makes sense. I'll rest when I've done enough. But Zen asks something softer, something simpler. What if this moment is already enough? Raid. Not perfect, not complete, not final, but enough. Enough to rest in, enough to breathe into, enough to trust without needing it to be anything else. When we stop grasping, we begin receiving. When we stop fixing, we begin feeling. And when we stop running from this moment, we remember that peace has been waiting, right here, all along. In diverse, think of a river. The water does not hold on to the past wave. It does not stretch toward the future one. It simply flows, not with force, not with expectation. Just this drop, this current, this now, and that's what your breath is. A quiet reminder that this moment is where life happens. Not in the memory, not in the plan, but here, right here. Tonight, you are invited to stop reaching, to stop trying to be anywhere else, to stop needing more than what already is. The work is done for now. The thoughts have said enough. And if there is more to understand, it will come, but not by force, only by rest. Let this moment be enough. Let this silence be enough. Let this breath be enough. You do not need to earn your way to peace. You only need to stop rejecting the stillness. Breathe now. Inhale, I welcome this moment. Exhale, I release the need for more. Inhale, this is enough. Exhale, I am enough. Feel the air, fill your lungs. Not because it fixes anything, but because it connects you to now. Now is not lacking. Now is not waiting. Now is not broken. It is complete simply by being. In doubling, Zen says, when you sit, sit. When you walk, walk. Not because walking is magical, not because sitting brings instant peace, but because presence is the miracle. This night does not need to impress you. Your mind does not need to be silent. Your life does not need to be tidied up. Before you rest, it only needs to be honored, as it is, right now. Raid. Imagine for a moment that you're watching the sky, You're not asking it to be bluer. You're not wishing the stars would rearrange themselves. You're simply watching, with awe, with stillness, with breath. Can you do that with your life? Can you do that with this moment? Can you witness what is, without asking it to change? That is the invitation of now. Not to fix, but to feel, to rest, to return home to what always was. End of verse. Sleep now, not with a checklist in your mind, but with a soft trust that you've done enough for today. That being is enough. That this breath, this stillness, this whisper of quiet is sacred. Let this moment be enough. Let this night be enough. Let you be enough. Because you already are. Chapter 20. Affirmations. Everything is happening for me. Tonight, let your soul hear a new kind of truth. Not the one shaped by fear, but the one carried quietly by faith. Let your body rest. Let your breath slow. And let these words soften your heart, like rain softens stone. You do not need to believe them all at once. You only need to listen and let their rhythm remind you of something your soul already knows. Duh, everything is happening for me. Even when I don't see how, I trust that life is on my side. I am not being punished. I am being guided. Through redirection, through pause, through mystery, I surrender the need to control the story. I trust the author who sees the whole. Raid. What left made space. What stayed has meaning. What's coming is already aligned with my growth. Nothing has been wasted. Not the pain, not the waiting, not the stillness. Every part of my path has shaped who I am becoming. End of verse. I am not behind. I am not off track. My timing is not late, it is divine. I release the illusion that others are ahead. I honor my own sacred unfolding. Each challenge has been a doorway. Each ending has been a beginning. Each silence has been a deeper lesson. Everything is happening for me. End of verse. I breathe in trust. I breathe out resistance. I breathe in surrender. I breathe out fear. I breathe in peace. I breathe out the pressure to know everything right now. I am safe in the unknown. I am guided by something greater than logic. End of verse. I don't need all the answers. I only need presence. I don't need proof. I only need faith. I don't need perfection. I only need permission to rest, to believe, to receive. And tonight, I give myself that permission. In doublet, I am not here to fix everything. I am here to feel, to grow, to return to who I truly am. I am not the past. I am not my fears. I am not my mistakes. I am the one who endured. I am the one who kept walking. I am the one who was learning to let go. And that is enough. End of verse. Even what broke me, taught me, even what confused me, prepared me, even what delayed me, protected me. I release the stories that say life is against me. I trust the deeper truth. Everything is happening for me. Raid. I allow healing to unfold in ways I cannot predict. I allow joy to return slowly, honestly. I let peace rise, not because everything is certain, but because I no longer need it to be. I am where I need to be. I am who I need to be. I am becoming, and that is holy. End of verse. Let sleep take me now. Let the breath carry me deeper. Let the silence remind me. There is nothing I need to force. There is nothing I need to fear. The path is not broken. The path is mine. And everything on it is happening for me. Let go now. Rest in this truth. And be held. Chapter 21. Zen Parable, The Laughing Buddha. He came from the hills. barefoot and smiling, his belly round like the moon, his laughter echoing through the market streets. The children ran to him first, not because he brought candy, but because he brought joy. He didn't speak of sutras or sermons. He didn't quote masters. He didn't carry scrolls. He carried a cloth bag, and wherever he went, he laughed. A deep, belly-shaking laugh that made old men grin and busy merchants pause. They called him Hote, but most knew him as the Laughing Buddha. End of verse. Some whispered, "He is not a real monk. He doesn't meditate." Others frowned, "He plays too much. Where is the discipline?" But none could deny that when he sat beneath the trees, even the birds sang softer. When he smiled at strangers, they felt seen. When he passed through town, the air changed. He never preached. He only lived. And when asked, "What is the secret to enlightenment?" he would throw his head back and laugh. "This," he'd say, "this moment, this breath, this laughter, nothing else." Then he'd reach into his cloth bag and pull out gifts, not jewels, but broken toys, shiny rocks, little notes with kind words. And he gave them freely, to everyone, even those who said he was not serious enough. Duh. When Hote was asked if he was enlightened, he smiled and said, "I have no need to be enlightened. I only need to be light." And then he laughed again. Reflection: the wisdom of lightness. Dear listener, when was the last time you laughed? Not out of politeness, but from the center of your being. When was the last time you let joy be enough? Zen is not only found in silence, it is found in laughter, in lightness, in the sacred permission to stop trying so hard. You were not born to carry the world on your shoulders. You were born to feel the breeze, to sip tea in the sun, to smile at a stranger, to be at home in your own skin. Duh. Sometimes we confuse seriousness with wisdom. We think that to be spiritual, we must be solemn. But Hote teaches something different. Real wisdom is relaxed. Real presence is playful. Real awakening feels light, because what is heavy is often the ego, and what is light is the soul, in doubling. So tonight, let go of the weight, the need to be perfect, the pressure to be profound, the heaviness of always seeking. Let joy find you as you are, not because you solved everything, but because you remembered how to smile. There is sacred medicine in laughter. There is enlightenment in simply being soft. Let your heart exhale. Let your spirit unclench. You are allowed to be light. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to enjoy the ordinary. End of verse. Breathe now. Inhale, I welcome lightness. Exhale, I release the weight. Inhale, I smile from within. Exhale, I let go of the need to try so hard. Hote had no temple, but everywhere he went became sacred. He had no sermons, but his presence taught peace. And you too, by simply being, can be enough. Duh. Sleep now, not as someone with burdens to solve, but as someone who remembers. Laughter is a doorway. Joy is a path. And lightness is a kind of wisdom. May your breath be soft. May your dreams be light. And may the Laughing Buddha walk with you in silence, smiling from somewhere inside your soul. Chapter 22. Reflection. Why the wise choose joy. Joy is not always loud. It's not always a celebration, a party, a burst of laughter in the middle of a sunny day. Sometimes joy is quiet. Sometimes it hides in the space between breaths. Sometimes it's simply the decision to smile even when life hasn't given you a reason. Not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you've made peace with it. That is the kind of joy the wise choose. Immerse. You see, the world teaches us that joy must be earned. After the work is done, after the healing is complete, after the pain is past, after we become worthy. But Zen teaches something different, a softer truth. Joy is not the reward. Joy is the path. It's not what happens when the burden is lifted. It's what happens when we decide to stop carrying so much. Hote, the laughing Buddha, didn't laugh because life was perfect. He laughed because he knew perfection was an illusion. He laughed because he saw that clinging only creates more suffering. He laughed because he had let go of pride, of pretense, of the illusion of control. And what remained was lightness. And what grew from that lightness was joy. Immerse. So tonight, ask yourself gently, what if I stopped waiting for life to be perfect before I allowed myself to feel good? What if joy isn't a destination, but a permission slip? What if choosing joy isn't denial, but spiritual clarity? Because it takes courage to be light in a heavy world. It takes wisdom to smile in the face of the unknown. It takes inner strength to let yourself rest without guilt. Breathe now. Inhale, I choose lightness. Exhale, I release the burden. Inhale, joy is already within me. Exhale, I allow myself to feel it. Let yourself soften. You do not need to fix the world tonight. You do not need to solve all the mysteries. You only need to remember. There is still beauty. There is still music in the quiet. There is still peace in your breath. There is still joy in simply being. The wise do not wait for joy. They choose it. Not every second, not out of pressure, but because they've learned. The soul does not grow by clenching. It grows by opening, even if just a little, even if just long enough to smile. Raid. Imagine now that you are walking beneath a night sky. There is no crowd, no celebration, only silence and stars. And still, something inside you smiles. Not because anything is perfect, but because you remembered that life, even in its quiet, is still sacred. And you, in this moment, are still enough. Let that be joy. Let that be your prayer. Sleep now, not because everything is done, but because you've remembered. You can rest without apology. You can smile without reason. You can let joy enter your chest, like breath enters your lungs. Not because you tried hard enough, but because joy is your birthright. You don't need to wait anymore. You can feel it now, even here, even now, even in the dark. Because the wise do not wait for light. They bring it with them, and so do you. Chapter 23. Zen Parable, the temple that burned down. High in the mountains, where clouds drift like monks in meditation, there stood an ancient Zen temple. It was small, humble, built of aged wood and stillness. But to those who visited, it was sacred, a place of refuge, a place of quiet, a place where the soul could remember itself. The master who lived there was as timeless as the stones along the path. He spoke rarely. He moved slowly. He listened more than he taught. One night, a fire broke out in the valley. No one knows how it started. Perhaps a lantern tipped in the wind, perhaps a lightning strike. But the fire climbed, and the forest glowed with flame. By morning, the temple was gone. Ashes, smoke, charred silence. The villagers gathered, grieving. How could this happen? This place was holy. It was the heart of our mountain. But the master stood where the temple once rose and smiled. He said only, "Now we can see the sky." Reflection. When the sacred falls away. Dear listener, sometimes life burns down the very thing you thought you couldn't live without. The dream, the home, the identity, the structure you clung to as your source of meaning. And when it falls, when the smoke rises and the ground feels hollow, it can seem like all is lost. But Zen offers a deeper view. Nothing essential can be destroyed, only what was ready to be released. Raid. The temple burned, but what it pointed to remained. The silence, the presence, the sky. We forget that sometimes even the sacred must be let go of to make room for something deeper. Sometimes life strips away our altars, so we remember the holiness of space, of sky, of breath, of who we are without the walls. In diverse, ask yourself tonight, what has burned away in my life, not as punishment, not as accident, but as invitation to see the sky, to feel what is always there when the structures are gone. You are not your titles. You are not your routines. You are not even your beliefs. You are the awareness beneath all of them, the stillness that watches, the presence that endures, the open sky after the flames have passed. In diverse, breathe now. Inhale, I release what is ended. Exhale, I welcome what is emerging. Inhale, I grieve, but I do not cling. Exhale, I trust the clearing. Let go of the temple. Let go of what once made you feel safe. Let the fire be your teacher. Let the ashes become your soil. Something new is ready to grow, but only in the open space you once feared to enter. The master did not mourn the walls. He saw the freedom in their absence. And you too can find freedom in the letting go. You don't need to rebuild right away. You don't need to rush toward a new identity. Just stand for a moment in the quiet clearing and look up. The sky was always there, but now you can see it. In diverse, sleep now, not as someone who has lost, but as someone who has made space. Sleep as the one who stands in the ashes with open hands and open eyes. You are not empty. You are ready. And above you is infinite sky. Let that be enough. Chapter 24. Reflection, the blessing of starting again. There's a quiet moment after the fire, when the smoke has cleared, the noise has settled, and the air smells of endings. But if you listen closely, beneath the silence, you'll hear something else. A beginning, not loud, not rushed, not declared to the world, but soft, sacred, sure. It's the moment the soul says, I can begin again. We think of starting over as a step backward, as a sign of failure, as something to be ashamed of. But Zen teaches something different, something softer, something wiser. To begin again is to return to truth, to remember that life is not a straight path, but a spiral, a dance, a wave, and every beginning is blessed. In doubling, perhaps something in your life has ended. A dream, a relationship, a version of yourself you no longer recognize. And perhaps you've stood at the edge of that ending, feeling unsure of who you are now. But endings are not the opposite of life. They are life. And beginning again is not a punishment. It is a gift. In diverse, tonight I want to remind you, you can begin again without knowing what comes next. You can begin again while still grieving what was. You can begin again with trembling hands and a tender heart. and still, it will be holy. End of verse. Take a deep breath now. Inhale, I allow new life. Exhale, I release what is past. Inhale, I open to possibility. Exhale, I trust my timing. You do not need a grand plan. You do not need a perfect mindset. You do not need to erase the past. You only need this moment, this breath, this choice, this willingness to take one step forward into the unknown. End of verse. There is something beautiful about not having it all figured out, because it means you're open. It means you're alive. It means you're listening. And what is waiting for you on the other side of surrender is peace. Not the peace of having all the answers, but the peace of knowing you don't need them to begin again. End of verse. Sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is try again, love again, rest again, hope again. Not because you're sure, but because your spirit is strong enough to choose softness anyway. And you, dear one, are that strong. End of verse. Let sleep come now, not as a pause, but as a sacred reset. Let this night be your altar. Let this breath be your prayer. Let this silence be your blessing. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are simply beginning again. And that is a beautiful place to be. Chapter 25. Closing, blessing you. We're always the light. Close your eyes now, beloved listener. Let the eyelids fall like silk curtains. After a grand performance, not of noise, but of awakening. Tonight, you do not need more information. You do not need more lessons. You have walked a long way, not on roads, but through invisible thresholds within you. And now, you are ready to hear this final secret. You were always the light, not the flame someone else gave you, not the candle lit by praise or success or belonging, but the quiet, steady glow that has lived in you all along. End of verse. You searched far. You asked questions. You tried. You failed. You rose again. You carried burdens you didn't tell anyone about. You healed wounds no one could see. You let go of stories that were never yours to begin with. And still, here you are, still breathing, still open, still reaching gently toward peace. Not because of what you gained, but because of what you let go. You became free. The moment you remembered, you don't need to become the light. You already are. End of verse. What you heard in this journey was not new. It was ancient. It was waiting inside you. All along. The stories, the stillness, the affirmations, they were just mirrors. Each one gently saying, "Look again. You're not who you thought. You're more, you're softer, you're clearer than the stories you outgrew. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not what happened to you. You are what remains. And what remains is light." Raid. Let this final breath of night carry you into remembering. You are not alone. You never were. Even in the confusion, there was wisdom moving through you. Even in the heartbreak, there was spaciousness being born. Even in the moments when everything fell apart, you were becoming whole. Duh. Say this softly in your heart. I am light. Even in the dark, I shine. Say it again. I am light. Even when I forget, I am still glowing. You do not need to wait for someone else to see it in you. You do not need to earn your brilliance. You only need to rest in it. Let the warmth of that truth fill you now. From the soles of your feet to the top of your head, Let it be enough. Let it be home. In diverse. Sleep now, not to escape, but to return. Return to the place inside you that never needed to be fixed. Return to the silence that never left your side. Return to the light you forgot was yours. Everything happens for a reason, yes, but not always for a reason the mind can hold. Some things happen to reveal what can never be taken. And what can never be taken is this: your light, your peace, your soul. G1. So go now into the softest part of the night, with no need to understand, no need to fight or figure it all out. You have arrived, not at an answer, but at stillness. And in that stillness, you are free. You are forgiven. You are whole. You are luminous. You were always the light. Now rest and let yourself shine, quietly, softly, eternally.